Welcome back to the channel, Gearheads. So I mentioned a couple weeks ago that Pontiac was running a little rough, and you haven't been following the channel. We've got ourselves a turbocharged GXP Pontiac Solstice. So it is a turbocharged version. It's a little more rare than the naturally aspirated one, but boy, is it full of problems. So in this episode, we're going to do spark plugs, new coil packs, and we're going to clean the mass airflow sensor, and we're going to do other little tweaks here. I'm going to show you what I like to do on some of these cars. Stick around. So let's take a quick look at the spark plug here. We're using an AC DELCO 41108. What's interesting about these is the Solstice originally shipped with a 41102, which GM doesn't produce anymore. So these, in theory, should be gapped, and you want to make sure that you check with your overpriced gapping tool from the auto parts store. That used to be 50 cents, which is not anymore. And you're looking for about 3.5, right on there. So what's funny about this is when you scour the forums, you scour the internet, whatever, chat GBT, everybody tells you that the plug should be gapped anywhere from 2.8 to 3.5 to 4.4 to 5.5. So there's really no general consistency on where this should be. They ship at 3.5, and that's what we're going to leave it for right now. If we have any detonation issues or anything like that, then we'll readjust and check the gapping. All right, so let's get this little pretty cover out of the way here. Never really understood the point of these. Most people don't actually pop the hood on their car. And we'll go ahead and get these loosened up here. Now these coil packs might break when you pull them out, especially the cheap ones. These are aftermarket ones, and that's why we're replacing them, because I'm pretty sure they're fouled. Now, the other thing you need to do is you need to remove the electrical connector on the coil pack itself. Be super gentle. These are old, and there is a little rubber gasket in there you don't want to lose. I don't know what's worse, working on a smaller car where you have to bend over and break your back, or a bigger car where you have to use a ladder. And just wiggle these back and forth here, just like that. I would say that one might actually be bad. And the last one here. Pull that out there. It's like a little water got into there, surprisingly. Alright, just be super gentle with this. But do a quick pop, not a slow pop. Alright, and this will make life a little easier here. See what we got. Wow. That might be one of the reasons why. We'll look at that on the table. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I think we might have found our problem. Part of our problem. And the last one here. Interesting. So take a peek at the table. Alright, so looking at these plugs here, this was actually number 2. But it looks like they're really not old. They're newer. But that one looks like it's completely fouled out. So, especially looking at the charts. Yeah, it looks like we have some oil. Probably some oil fouling. Let's check the gapping on it just to see where they were at when they went in. Yeah, 3.5. Close enough. Really interested about this one though. Well, let's put some new ones in. And drop them in. Drop it in. Bam. And bam. Now I like to hand tight them here, just to get them started. Now you're probably thinking I missed the dielectric grease, right? I'll show you what I do. Alright guys, so we're ready to put the coils in, but let me show you a little secret. You are going to use dielectric grease, and I normally just kind of put it in the hole and squirt it all around, but I use another product from Bombardier, and that's right, the aircraft manufacturer, but it's made for their Sea-Doos. I use this on my boats down here in Florida, jet skis, all that fun stuff, because the salt really kills electronics, and it stops the silicone from sticking to the cylinders there. So we're going to spray the outside here, and then we're going to add that dielectric grease.
So this is probably going to drive the lubricant fanatics here, or connoisseurs, crazy. But we'll pop that hole there. I don't know if you guys knew. Some people don't know. That's how you pop that little foil on there. A lot of the caps have that. You'd be surprised. So I just take a little bit in there, squirt it in. You can rub it all over the plug. Everybody has their own way of doing things. There's no right or wrong. And on the last one there. And I'm not doing too much, but just enough that when I push the plug in, it pushes all that stuff down. So the other thing we're going to do as well is we'll take our BRP spray, our XPS, shake that up, and then I like to take this here. And this is electrical connector safe as well. So now I didn't do it to the last ones because I totally forgot. But this will make it last a little longer. And like I said, I use this on the boat and the jet ski and all that stuff down here in the salt water. And it makes it look brand new and stuff doesn't actually stick to anything. So there you go. Let it sit for a little bit and then it'll cure and then we'll stick these on. And stick those bad boys in there. Alright, let's jump over to the Solstice drawer here. And I'm looking for the EVAP valve. That's a switch. There we go. Let's talk about that. Alright guys, so now that we have the spark plugs and coil pack changed, we're going to talk about an EVAP canister purge valve. That's going to be next on our list for a little tune-up here. This is GM old stock here. I've been sitting on it for a while. But we're going to pull the old one out and we're going to test it. I'm going to show you how to test it. These aren't really common for going bad, but they can cause a significant amount of issues. It's not one of those ones that typically works or it doesn't. It's kind of one of those ones where it'll work and then it doesn't and then it'll work again. So you can have a wide range of issues. Rough idling, hard starts, all that fun stuff. So let's pull that one out. Canister purge valve is actually going to be on the driver's side here, right on the manifold. It's only going to be one nut right there. And then we're going to remove the electrical cable here, the data cable, and then as well as the tube there. Pull that off slowly there. And right on the back, we'll pull that off here. So every car is going to have one of these. It's going to be in a different location. But for GM such as this, it's going to be on that driver's side. Be gentle with this cable. It is old. Alright, so if you haven't done one of these, just kind of pull it over a little bit so you can see that little tab right there. Grab that tab just like that, and that'll pull right off. Wow, look at that. Alright, so we have our old one out here, and really the quickest way to test that is just blow into it. If it blows right through, you can tell that your valve is stuck open. This one can't actually blow through it, but again, we're replacing it due to age because it's one of those things that it could work, it couldn't work, and then it could work again. So it's iffy. But on our new one, design really hasn't changed. It feels a little heavier, looks a little, well, more refined, and it's made in Canada, not China. Surprisingly, this is an AC DELCO one, and it's made in China. Might be a fake. Installation is pretty much just going to be the same as what you just did. So take this one. Actually, you know what? We'll just put it in for now and just stick it right there. Slap that sucker right in there. Alright guys, so next on our list is the mass airflow sensor. On the Solstice here, it's going to be located right at the front, right on the air intake. If you're running a turbo with an aftermarket intake, it's going to be set up a little different here, but all cars are pretty much going to be the same. That MAP sensor is going to be right on the intake area where the air enters into the motor. What I like to typically do is just unplug the harness, and then I like to use a good extension so I can get in there so I don't have to break my back. And it's going to come out just like that. Alright guys, so the sensor's out here. It looks pretty good. It's not any bad condition or anything, considering of how old this one is in particular. But what I'm using is some CRC mass airflow sensor cleaner. So you're going to want to spray this pretty liberally all over this. Don't put any high pressure compressed air through here. If you do, very lightly, but we're going to get this cleaned out just to make sure. I know the plugs are bad, everything else looked pretty bad condition. This looks pretty good, so I don't think this is what our issue was. So it doesn't really matter where you do this. You can do this outside, you can do it inside, just don't breathe it in. I'm going to do it here so you can see, but just take a little bit of it and get it right in that hole there. And there's a little reed valve in there and a sensor, so you want to make sure you get it nice and clean. And this stuff's going to dry off and evaporate, so no need to rub it clean and polish it or any of that stuff there. Alright guys, so it did rain a little bit, so I had to take a quick break, but here's our last step. So we are going to change the oil in about a week or so. So we're going to add a little bit of snake oil, some Marvel's mystery oil, and I'm convinced it's actually snake oil. And I can't get the bottle open. There we go. So we'll put just a little bit, that when we go to change the oil, to pull all that carbon out. All right, gearheads, well, thanks for joining me on our 2007 Pontiac Solstice GXP tune-up. Had a little fun putting some stuff together, but I have to say I'm looking forward to some drivability and not wrenchability with these things. If you watch the AC tune-up video, I'm iffy about these cars. I like driving it, but again, I seem to have the only one on the internet that has problems. But then again, nobody really ever talks about their problems. Most of the time, they just say how great they are. So I don't know, maybe it's widespread. If you own a Solstice, especially a GXP turbocharged one, I'd be interested to see what you have to say. Leave it in the comments section. Let's chit chat about it. Trying to see if I'm the only one that has the problems that I have or constantly wrenching on it. If you're following the bobber video now, episode 3 is coming. We're waiting on Amazon to deliver us some stuff, so don't worry, that video is coming. A few hiccups here and there, we're gonna get on that bad boy and we'll get riding. So that's it for our segment on the Pontiac Solstice GXP tune-up. Let's hit the road.